You're listening to DraftKings Network.
This is the Dan Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
I hope that everyone is still paying attention to what happened with Alaska Airlines a couple weeks ago, because I haven't stopped thinking about it. I even went so far as to look at our flights to Las Vegas and see what kind of aircraft we were traveling on. And it seems like the public should be asking more questions. And instead, I'm going on Wall Street Bets this week, Dan, and I see someone asking this question, which is it insider trading if I bought Boeing puts while I'm inside the wrecked airplane? And this poster is wondering, hypothetical, of course, imagine sitting in an airplane when suddenly the fucking door blows out. Now, while everyone else is screaming and grasping for air, you instead turn on your noise-canceling headphones and ignore the crying baby next to you, calmly open your Robinhood app or whatever broker you prefer, and load up on Boeing puts. There's no way the market could have already priced that in. It's literally just happening. Would that be considered insider trading? I mean, you are literally inside of the wreck of an airplane. It's not a bad question, but it's the wrong question.
It's a pretty bad question, and it is the wrong question. It is a bad question and the wrong question. Tony, what are you talking about?
It's not a bad question. First off, you should never have posed the question, because then other people can get on the same thing. You want to be first and only in that put spot.
But you're on an airplane in midair. You're 30,000 feet above.
It's like 16,000
What else am I going to
feet is
do?
what I read.
How can I save myself? What else could I possibly be doing at that time other than making my family a lot of money?
Making sure the screaming baby has his little oxygen mask on? I have
to put mine on first before I can do anything else.
First,
yeah.
So,
Billy, you are failing at not making faces anymore. You're making faces even though you don't have a microphone in front of you.
I don't know. I need to stop breathing, I guess.
There's a reason that you're making faces.
First of all, if you're on a plane that's crashing, there's nothing that you can actually do. Like, let's be real. So you might as well do stock for whatever you're going to do. Like, if you go like this, you're not going to save yourself. If you're going to die in a plane crash, you're going to die in a plane crash.
Put it on the poll, please, Juju, at Le Batard Show. If you're going to die on a plane crash, should you go ahead and do the insider trading?
I don't think it's inside. I mean, you are inside the plane, but I don't think you have knowledge from the company that people aren't privy. Although I guess maybe it depends if you're the person that unscrewed the bolt, I think, because then maybe you would have a little
I would love to see the judge prosecute the person that survived a plane crash for insider trading.
Papi, it's good to see you and have you around again. You haven't shut up about the spread since you got here. Have you been enjoying? We lost you for an hour. We misplaced you for an hour. Is it because you've consumed a bunch of pastelitos?
I stay close to that spread. I'm telling you, that's the best thing that ever happened to your show. That spread.
And he's not talking about against the spread.
No, he's for the spread. But Tony came rushing in when he heard that Papi was here because he wants to play Refran Del Dia with him. Have you missed that? Have you missed that segment?
Yeah, I guess I do. But I saw Tony busy by the buffet line there. He had a big Cuban sandwich there.
He did see you, Tony.
You got the cookie, too. The cookie's excellent.
Cookie, too. That's right.
All right, let's cue the music here so that we can play Refran Del Dia con Papi, por favor.
Dímelo, mi gente! Billy, can you get the... Thank you. Billy had one job today, Dan. It was to get that and play... There we go.
Billy doesn't like to support you, Tony. He doesn't... He's not here to support you.
No one supports him more than me.
That's also true. Nobody supports him more than me, but I really needed this. So we'll have this...
Tell me.
Well, I thought you knew when the music starts, you have to go grab it. Anyways, today's Refran Del Dia sponsored by the MMA Hangout, where you can go see us hanging out at the Taurus in Coconut Grove for UFC 297. That'll be Saturday, 1/20 at 9 p.m. at night.
And the haters.
Hold on a second.
Haters, line up, please.
Yeah, don't forget about the
We
haters.
love you there.
What is the name of the instrument that Billy is presently scratching? The cheese grater. What is that? What is the name of that instrument? Anybody?
Guayo. El Guayo.
Why
El Guayo. Thank you, Papi. Nice.
Come on, what
how
a
do you
pull.
how do you spell El Guayo? What is that? How do you spell it?
I can't tell you that.
Okay, I don't.
There's a G in there somewhere.
I don't know why that's an industry secret. I don't think that you can play that indifferently, though, Billy. I think you have to play that with Latin flair and passion. Throw your energy into it. He
It's
refuses,
half-assed. It's
he
half-assed.
refuses
Half-assed
to
thing.
be supportive
You know what?
of
Do I have to do
anything.
everything around here? Give me this. Here.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Tony. Bring your own energy.
All right,
you don't
so
need him.
let's spin the wheel. Oh!
What did it land on? What is the
One of my favorite sayings that my mom would say to me all the time, and Papi has for sure said this to anybody that would listen when they were doing something that was just getting on his nerves. And today's Refran Del Dia is "Comiste una cotorra."
Oh, I love that. You ate the big parakeet.
You ate a big parakeet is the literal translation by my father.
You ate a parrot.
Okay, parakeet.
Not a parakeet, a big one. Yes, a parrot. A parakeet is a big one. And why, Papi, why would you say that? Under what conditions?
Well, I mean, when you are pressed because you are talking a lot, you said that. You know, boy, I tell you what, a cotorrón you gave me. No,
I don't know. I don't know. I'm
nailed
asking.
it.
You're our expert. Cotorra. When I've heard you and Mom use that in Spanish growing up, it was always somebody who was, talking a lot. Somebody gossiping a lot. Somebody who was talking excessively. I've not heard the phrase though. To eat a giant parrot. That's not something I've not heard that.
Well, that's a translation, word by word. Then I don't know if it makes any sense, but
It doesn't make
It's a polite way to tell someone they're talking way
Oye,
too
comiste
much.
una cotorra hoy.
Yeah.
Estás
Oye,
hablando
¿qué
mucho,
comiste para
demasiado.
lunch? Un cotorra.
Una cotorra.
Exactly like that. That's how it goes, yeah.
That's right. Comiste una cotorra. You ate you talk a lot.
Sometimes you eat a payaso also.
A payaso. Well, I don't know, a payaso. A clown.
A clown? You don't know about that one? That one.
You ate the payaso. I don't know about the payaso, but that's okay.
Why are we eating clowns and parrots in our homeland's language?
Well, because that's the tradition.
Okay.
You know, Cuban people, they eat a lot. I mean, not they eat. Well, they also eat a lot, but they talk a lot.
That's true.
And the thing is, obviously, the parrot is a talking bird. And sometimes when parrots get on a roll, it's like, oye, yeah, you're una cotorra. Stop it.
That's right.
It does sound a lot better than "please shut the f*** up."
Yeah.
Oh, that would be Kaita la pinga.
okay.
That's a different one.
I don't want to get into that one.
Yeah, don't get into that one, Papi.
Jeremy can be accused of.
Who, Jeremy?
Thanks. Hey, Papi. That's me.
The NBA guy.
Yeah,
I see
the
you.
NBA
I see you.
That's
Every
me.
game,
Hey.
you're right there, hanging in there, tough.
Yeah.
El señor Tache.
That's
You
right.
got it.
El señor
Una cotorra.
Tache.
right.
Thank you, Papi. It was nice seeing you again. It was
Likewise.
nice. It was nice having you around. Te queremos.
Bueno, same here. I gotta go back to the buffet now.
Okay.
Me too, me too. I'll meet you out there.
The thing you really
What's
love.
there for lunch?
I'm hungry.
Papi, what's there for lunch today? What's out there?
Let's all of us go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, it's Mike Ryan. I love football, and I love Miller Lite. Why do I love Miller Lite? Well, dependable flavor, the fact that it's a beer that tastes like beer, the fact that when I'm having a Miller Lite, I don't have to think for 1 second about the beer that I'm drinking. And I know that it's only 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. It's my favorite beer. I believe in the product. You might be sick of hearing me talk about it, but I'll be talking about it till I'm old and gray. Because Miller Lite is with me wherever I go, no matter the season, and especially the wintertime. I love drinking Miller Lite during the winters because when it's cold outside, I don't need a koozie for it. It stays a perfect temp. It is the best beer, and it pairs well with playoff football. Miller Lite, great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/Dan to find delivery options near you, or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere that they sell beer. Tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
Don Le Batard.
How do people always go missing in the mountains? Don't go to the mountains. And by the way, I don't want to bring race into it. This is the most white people thing ever. Going missing in the middle of the mountains. It's the strangest thing. You go by yourself. You don't take a radio. You don't take a phone. You're missing for 4 days, and they find you like 10 years later covered in snow. And it's like, don't go by yourself. If you're going to go on a trail, don't go by yourself.
Stugotz.
Put it on the poll. Is it the whitest person thing ever? I believe is what you called it. Going into the woods by yourself. Is going into the woods by yourself?
I can't disagree with that, man.
I mean, so black people don't camp?
Yeah, black people don't hike. They don't camp. They don't go out into the woods.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
Mike, I've actually been rewatching The Good Place recently, and first of all, it's like really a perfect show. Well done. Yeah, but thank you. Second of all, I can't help but laugh where at the end of each episode, I'm feeling all warm and fuzzy inside, and I'm blown away by the ethics of everything. And then the title sequence comes back up, and it says The Good Place, created by Michael Schur. Yeah. And then I laugh to myself because I think about you sending profanity-laced texts about Jimmy Butler, and I juxtapose that with the show, and it's just truly a wonderful experience for me every single time.
Listen, I'm not perfect. I've got my flaws just like everybody else. And my main flaw is hatred for the Miami Heat.
It's amazing.
Mike, I just want to tell you, I think you did such a great job. And Parks and Rec also. Sometimes at night I just watch it and I think, wow,
all right,
Mike Schur is so perfect in every way. I'm going to name my cat after him.
I did. All right.
Super annoying.
Roy,
all of you.
Did you like Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
All of you really annoying.
I really like The Office.
Fanboying on Mike Schur. Let's go ahead and get started here. Mike Schur with us, Meadowlark intern. You guys can stop with all the fanboying. I'd appreciate it. I have a number of different questions, and I want to get to a stat of the day in a second. Mike, thank you for joining us. Lorne Michaels says that Tina Fey could easily take his place as executive producer of Saturday Night Live when and if he ever retires. I believe he will be in the chair 17 years after his death. But you tell me, as somebody, Billy's still laughing at how...
well, that's because my cat is named Mose. So it's because it's genuinely a true thing.
All right, go sit in the penalty box. Go sit in the penalty box.
He just explained I'm actually flustered.
Legitimately flustered.
Yes. I feel like that whole story from Jeremy was just to tell people that Mike Schur texts him sometimes.
Just get out. Just get out.
He texts me too.
Te comiste una cotorra. Can you please help me, understand Lorne Michaels and the succession plan? Obviously, Tina Fey could replace him. You're uniquely qualified as someone who came up through, you were in your early 20s with Adam McKay writing on Saturday Night Live. What do you make of Lorne Michaels saying Tina Fey can replace him?
This is like a real Saban situation, right? It's like the person did the job better than anyone's ever done it or could do it. And now the person who replaces him, if and when he ever leaves, is going to be under an enormous amount of pressure. You know, Tina's amazing. Tina's incredible. There's very few people in the world who have her talent level in like 50 different ways: acting, writing, producing, comedy in general. So it doesn't surprise me that he said that. I mean, that's been long speculated, as you know, there aren't that many people who can take over that chair. She's certainly one of them. She's not the only one, but I would say if there's Vegas betting odds, she's probably the favorite for a number of reasons. But man, oh man, is that a hard job? Is that going to be tough to take over for that guy? I mean, it's like it's literally Saban. It's like, how do you replace the person who's better than everybody else at doing a certain job? So I don't envy whoever has the job, but I think if someone has to do it, I think she'd be an excellent choice.
What do Tina Fey and Kalen DeBoer have in common, you think?
Fearlessness, I'm going to guess. I know nothing about Kalen DeBoer, but I'm going to say fearlessness. You don't take that job unless you're like, yeah, I got this. You know, you had like the intestinal fortitude of taking over for Nick Saban. I can't imagine. I mean, before he takes the job, everyone's probably declaring him a failure and he's not good enough and he shouldn't have been hired. If he loses one of his first 7 games, people are going to start thinking about whether he was the wrong choice to take over. And the same will be true of whoever takes over for Lorne. It's like at some point there will be a bad show, because there's always bad shows every year on that program, and someone will write the article of like, this was the wrong choice. Was that a good answer? I feel like that was a good answer for like a bad faith question.
It was a terrible question, because I was going to compare it to Nick Saban, and then you already had done that in your answer towards the end of your answer. So I wanted to do a follow-up that wasn't as good.
Can you explain to me, please, if you think it is a good job? Because you just said it's a tough job, and I think you said it's a bad spot, but that shows in a diminished state. I don't mean this as disparagement. I mean it's sort of matter of fact. And television is in a diminished state. And so that job, never mind Tina Fey, anybody, does it feel like it's the same job once he leaves it?
Well, it's the same show, you know. I mean, look, there aren't that many names that ring out the way that the name Saturday Night Live rings out through the TV landscape. It's a legendary program. It still has a place in the culture. And like everything else, I used to joke all the time. I may have said this on the show before, and I apologize, but if you ask anyone what the best cast of SNL is, they will name the cast that was on the show when they were between 12 and 15 years old, because it's like a thing that introduces people to comedy at the moment that they're forming their comedic personalities or voices. And it's transgressive, and you stay up late and you stay up until 1 a.m. to watch the show, and you fall in love with certain cast members, and you like it, you know. I was there for 7 years, 6.5, 7 years. And over that time, when I first joined it, the press was like, this show sucks now, this show should die. And then Will Ferrell started doing Bush, and Daryl Hammond started doing Gore. And it was like, this show's amazing. This is incredible. This show's the best show on TV. And then a couple of years after that, it was like, this show sucks now. This show should go away. And the show has rides that wave, that sine wave, up and down over the years, in and out. Like there are periods of time where people declare it's the best thing on TV, the most vital thing on TV. And then there are periods of time when everyone hates it. And that's just, Lorne used to joke that on his tombstone, it should say, "Here lies Lorne Michaels." And then in quotes, "It was a little uneven," because that's how people have referred to the show since the beginning, since 1975. So, you know, the person who takes over for him is going to face the same thing. There are going to be moments, periods of time where everyone loves it, periods of time where everyone hates it. There's nothing you can do about that. That's the nature of the beast. It's a big, rambling mess of a variety show, and that's sort of by design.
David Chase, creator of The Sopranos, and I don't know if you saw this, says the golden age of television is over. He has said that's at least in part because of streaming, but he also is saying that everything has been dumbed down. Did you see that? Do you agree with that?
I did not see that. I mean, you know, we've heard that before too. Like, people say that all the time. When I left SNL, went to LA, people were saying the sitcom is dead, because there had been a dearth of great sitcoms for the past few years. And then there was a revival, like the Office and 30 Rock and Modern Family, and suddenly people were like, the sitcom's back. And it just, again, these things go in waves. No one really knows what the long-term effect of streaming will be, but as you have talked about on this very show, you know, these streamers are now talking about bundling themselves, and like kind of everybody's selling ads again, which means that the old cable model might be kind of weirdly coming back into favor. What does that mean for sitcoms? No one knows. What does that mean for dramas? No one knows. Like, but it's just, it's silly to ever say like, oh, TV is dead. I mean, is this there was certainly a period of time, starting with The Sopranos and going through, you know, I don't know, I guess Breaking Bad or maybe Better Call Saul, where you would say that there were these legendary all-time dramas on the air, and that this was a golden age is what everybody called it. And, you know, the thing about golden ages is they don't last forever. And so, you know, that era is probably over, but that doesn't mean a new era won't begin that has a different, you know, slate of shows and a different vibe, and that might not produce material that's just as good. It's just, TV is not going anywhere. TV is going to stick around forever. And it's just a question of like how the people who create the shows and market the shows and air the shows kind of present them, and what they value. So I think there are going to be more good TV shows in the future. It's just a question of when and how they're delivered to you.
I don't know how you do this measurement, but I would say at one point when Friends had Thursday nights and NBC had Thursday nights, they had 75 million people watching, which at the time was a third of the country. A third of the country was watching NBC on Thursday nights when The Sopranos was doing what they were doing. I suspect that we can argue that that's the golden age of television, and it'll forever be more fragmented than that, will it not?
Yeah, but then, go back another 20 years and look at the finale of MASH was over 100 million people, and the Beatles on Ed Sullivan was whatever it was. Like I don't know that that's the measurement that you want to use, because the way people consume entertainment changes over time. And so, yeah, will there ever be another show where that lasts for, I mean, Friends lasted for 9 seasons or 10 seasons. So will there ever be another show that lasts that long? There might not be. Or there might be, because we might come all the way back around to where we were a few years ago, because the economic model will change again and people will have shows that last for, right now, the shows are lucky to last for 2 or 3 seasons. That might change again. So I don't know. I think making predictions about these things is a fool's errand. And it's entirely possible that at some point 20 years from now, the way things shift and change and consolidate, that there are shows that last that long and get that many viewers. I don't know.
When you're creating shows, do you plan for that now? Like, you want to tell your story in 3 seasons knowing this is kind of the norm?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, you'd be kind of foolish to ever think that you have a chance to tell the story over 5, 6, 7 years, at least right now. I'm working a show right now. We start shooting next month, sorry. And we're like, sort of thinking about like, okay, if we get a season 2, here's what we would do. And after that, there are no plans, because there are not many shows that last more than 2 seasons now. Which is a bummer. Like, I think the thing that TV had as a medium over movies was you got to tell stories about characters slowly, granularly over a long period of time. And that right now is not really an option. There's very few shows. It's like Stranger Things, and that's it. That last for the length of time that successful shows used to last for. So it would be kind of foolish for any creator to think about telling a story slowly over 7 or 8 years. I mean, Severance, which was one of my favorite shows of 2022, like they got interrupted by the strikes and there were other production delays, but like, it's going to be 2.5 or 3 years between seasons. You can't, that's not a sustainable model either. You can't wait 2 or 3 years between seasons, because then a 5-year show covers 15 years of people's lives. Like that's not viable. So yeah, that is a big consideration now, is that you just don't have the same amount of time you used to have.
And with that, is syndication even a goal now?
Syndication doesn't really exist. Like syndication was, when I was a kid, you at 7 and 7:30 on channel 9 or channel 11 or whatever, like they would show reruns of popular sitcoms like that. That exists a little bit, but now syndication has just been replaced by the streamers. So like if you make a season of a show, and then that show is either made for Amazon or Netflix or Hulu, or they're the ones who buy it and show it. So those reruns that used to be what syndication did, spread the show around all these different markets in reruns. That's been almost entirely replaced. So that it's not, and the reason that you wanted to make 100 episodes of something was because syndication required 100 episodes, because they wanted to run 5 nights a week and they wanted a minimum of 20 weeks of shows. So that's 100 episodes. So that's why that was the magic number, because if to buy a show to air in reruns, those channels wanted 100 episodes as a way to not have to rerun the same episode twice within 20 weeks. But that doesn't exist anymore. So 100 doesn't really mean anything, and no one gets there anyway. And so syndication has been replaced by just, you sell your show to Netflix or Hulu or whatever streamer you sell it to or make it for. And that's how people see the shows now, is they just subscribe to those streaming systems. So it's a completely different world. It just doesn't bear any resemblance to the world I began in or grew up in. And you just have to roll with it,
Who's the person?
Can we talk about Connor Stallions, though?
Wait, hold on. I have a question about Charmed. Who's the person that's making all the Charmed money? Because Charmed has been on TNT every morning for the past 40 years. And like every time that you fall asleep watching an NBA game and then you wake up, Charmed is on. So who is it that is cashing in on all this Charmed money?
Well, the creators and executive producers of Charmed, who I can't name off the top of my head. When you make a show, there are points, which are just, each point is 1% of the total profit. And usually the 65 of those points are owned by the studio that makes the show, and 35 of them are owned by the some combination of the creator, sometimes the actors if they're big stars, sometimes the executive producers, and then those people divvy up all the profits. So TNT clearly bought Charmed for a certain amount of money. If that money put the show into profit, then 1% of that profit is going to each of the people who has one of those points.
We'll bring you back to talk Stalions, but let's do a quick stat of the day here.
Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day.
I'm still feeling legitimately embarrassed, by the way.
Go ahead, Schur.
Papi was in the studio. You could have had him sing it live. Can we have him sing it live
He did.
one day?
That was live.
He doesn't really want to be around us, it seems like.
Just the spread.
He wanted the pastelitos and he fled the premises. Like, it didn't seem like he was happy here. It seemed like it brought back post-traumatic stress disorder.
PTSD.
I respect that. I admire that. Here's your quick stat of the day. It's a Tony Gwynn stat. It's from Codified Baseball. Tony Gwynn's career batting average, 338. Tony Gwynn's career batting average against Cy Young Award winners, 339.
That's wacky.
That is an excellent stat. My guess is that you could fill up an entire podcast just with Tony Gwynn stats.
He's got like 50 of the most amazing stats. That guy was incredible. I love that guy so much. Can I talk about the charity thing that Joe Posnanski and I are doing?
Well,
currently?
you'd have 30 seconds to do that, so let's bring you back to talk about that and Connor Stalions and
Connor Stalions. Okay, great.
And what you're doing on the podcast and Bill Belichick and Better Call Saul, because I want to know if you're as outraged as the rest of us are that Odenkirk has never won anything and that Better Call Saul has never won anything at the Emmys, even though you think award shows are stupid.
This is going to be a packed segment.
It is. I mean, I thought we had enough time with the 15 minutes that we just did, but evidently not. Let's see if we can embarrass Jeremy some more.
Don Batard.
They would try to bring in some minority characters, and you could. Yeah, they tried.
Louis Aguirre was one of them. They tried to dabble in Latin flavor, and they went and got
Maurice Chestnut was one. I think
Morris.
Morris Chestnut. I'm sorry. God, what a beefcake in that show. Oh. Miranda, why didn't you stay with him? I mean, we're going to go with Steve on this one? Seriously?
Stugotz.
Oh, no. Clear out. I have to issue an apology.
Uh-oh. Oh, no. Oh, no. Is it a Sex and the City apology?
I would like to formally apologize to Blair Underwood for calling him Morris Chestnut.
Oh, no.
Wow. Look.
LA Law, man. Come on, yo.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
I thought the most interesting part of the entire Michigan story today is that Harbaugh is reportedly asking or being offered by Michigan 6 years, $11.5 million a year, and future immunity from anything that any investigation about him reveals. But you have something else regarding Connor Stalions that you think is more interesting, Mike Schur?
Listen, I'm an Ann Arbor native. I was born in Ann Arbor, Michigan. I've been a Michigan fan my whole life, and I, as a Meadowlark media intern, have been subjected to a lot of anti-Michigan crap from you people. You know, I've heard a lot of, the fans are terrible. Lucy had a terrible time at the championship game. Connor Stalions this, Connor Stalions that. I'm here to stick up for the University of Michigan and the Michigan Wolverines. And this whole Connor Stalions thing, I've been through this before, as you well know, with the Deflategate and with the Tapegate and all that stuff. You have it all wrong. This is a big misunderstanding. This is all they're innocent of all charges, and for you to malign them and to slander them, I've had enough. I've had it up to here with you. I want Michigan to get their due, and I want you to admit that this is a legitimate national championship and that they did nothing wrong. And I'm not leaving here until you admit that.
Mike, you're really good at naming characters and having like funny names in your show. Is there a better name for the villain in the Michigan story than Connor Stalions? Is there anything else that even compares?
it is an all-timer. It's incredible. I would be so proud of myself if I invented a guy who did what he did and named him Connor Stalions. It would be a career achievement. Also, listen, you have it all. He was just a college football fan. He bought those tickets because he loves going to games. He's like Lucy. He's no different than Lucy. He just wanted to go to the games and just see the competition. And now he's getting slandered and defamed. And I don't want to stand for it. That is a true, much like Lucy and Jess, a true college football fan who just wanted to attend some games and enjoy the competition in front of him. That's all that was happening there.
Well, if it was Lucy, someone would have accidentally applied for him to go to like the Washington-Oregon game on accident.
Yeah, the wrong game is where he would have ended up. Jessica, when are the Footies making an appearance? Your college football awards?
This week on Gen CFB, we are handing out end-of-season awards. The Footies, the first annual Footies Awards.
Finally embracing it.
Me, Lucy, and Taylor will be handing out the Footies.
Foot.
What kind of categories are we talking here? Are they good? Are they like normal categories, or are they fun, made up categories?
They're very boring and stupid. No, of course they're fun categories. Mike, come on. We have the Mario Cristobal Award for Worst Game Management. We have the Footy for Most Elder Abuse. We have the Nepo Baby of the Year Award. It's going to be a great time at the Footies.
Can I
this
make
year.
a suggestion?
Yes.
Best Arch.
Ooh. What are your nominees?
It's Arch Manning.
Well, I feel like we need one more.
Billy, can we get on God Bless Football, that seance, that promised seance with Don Shula?
Okay, Captain Lee says he wants to be in on that too.
Okay, excellent. Mike, what are you promoting for the podcast, one of the very popular podcasts here on Meadowlark Media? You are doing something charitable and kind with Boog Shambi, who does a lot of charity and does a lot of good work that I'm sure people want to and need to learn about.
Yes, for the second year now, we're doing our January opening baseball cards and talking about the players we find in them raffle thing. So we're opening all this month. I think the first one drops today. All this month, we're opening cards. We're going to have Boog on. We're going to have Tom Haberstroh on, open some basketball cards. We're going to auction them off for charity. So if you go to projectmainstreet.org, that's Boog's project, the ALS charity. They provide money for patient care for people with ALS. Donate $25, send a receipt to poscastraffle@gmail.com, POSCAST raffle@gmail.com. Give $25 is what we're asking for, but anything you want to give is fine. And you will enter yourself in a raffle to win any card you want and a bunch of other fun prizes. And all the money will go to Project Main Street. So it's Project Main ST, abbreviation for street.org. Go give money and listen to the podcast and pick your card.
Give us the dismount we need with controversial commentary. Better show, The Bear or Better Call Saul?
They're both incredible. I will only say that The Bear won Best Comedy and Succession won Best Drama, and I think those are exactly reversed. I think
you didn't answer my question. You did not answer my question. You're a coward. You're a coward, and I hope no one gives to your charity.
Hey, it's Mike Ryan. I love football, and I love Miller Lite. Why do I love Miller Lite? Well, dependable flavor, the fact that it's a beer that tastes like beer, the fact that when I'm having a Miller Lite, I don't have to think for 1 second about the beer that I'm drinking. And I know that it's only 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. It's my favorite beer. I believe in the product. You might be sick of hearing me talk about it, but I'll be talking about it till I'm old and gray, because Miller Lite is with me wherever I go, no matter the season, and especially the wintertime. I love drinking Miller Lite during the winters because when it's cold outside, I don't need a koozie for it. It stays a perfect temp. It is the best beer, and it pairs well with playoff football. Miller Lite, great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/Dan to find delivery options near you, or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere that they sell beer. Tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.